5 News at Noon starts now.
Construction on a new 3-mile bridge in Barling connecting traffic to I-40 officially begins. We'll take you to the groundbreaking ceremony happening right now. And the FBI searches the home of Trump's former national security advisor today in a classified information investigation. Thank you for joining us for your 5 News at Noon. I'm Morgan Wrigley here with meteorologist Danny Cassidy.
Hello.
And lots of county fairs going on.
Yes.
This weekend's probably going to be the biggest time for that. And it really seems like it will be hot, but not quite as hot as it could be.
Yeah, I was going to say pretty seasonal, a little on the warmer side, but it could be a lot worse, could be a lot more muggy, and it could be pouring rain, but otherwise, not too shabby. Morgan was at the Sebastian County Fair yesterday, and it seemed like a good time, Morgan. It was nice weather for it, and we're going to have similar conditions for us this afternoon. You can see plenty of those puffy clouds there, those cumulus clouds. You can see a little bit of blue sky as well. We'll see. I think Springdale is pretty close to that Toy Story background in Andy's room, so we'll go with that. Springdale here, 84 degrees. Looks pretty nice out there, and really all across the 5 News coverage area. Now, compared to this time yesterday, you're like, Danny, this isn't really showing anything. Well, that's the point. It's very similar this afternoon compared to yesterday afternoon, and really it's going to feel about the same. That feels like could top off in the mid-90s for Northwest Arkansas, then eventually quieting down into the upper 60s and actually mid-70s later tonight. Then for the River Valley, some spots could get close, if not hit 100. So again, manageable warmth, but still a little hot nonetheless, then obviously tapering off after sunset. So with more of those puffy cumulus clouds, we'll have a warm weekend ahead. Temperatures will be about the same as today. It will be less muggy, though. You're probably feeling that as you walk out the door today, that, yeah, it's not as bad. And we are going to see a little bit of cooler conditions, or I should say a lot cooler conditions, and a little wet, especially to start the week next week. So we'll talk all about that here coming up in your full forecast. Morgan.
Thanks, Danny. And right now at noon, we're learning no charges will be filed in the shooting death of a Charleston man. Prosecutors say the man who shot and killed 52-year-old Richard Bradley Jones on July 10th in Lavaca will not face charges because they say he, quote, reasonably perceived an imminent threat. At the end of July, Sebastian County Prosecutor Daniel Shue stepped away from this case because of a conflict of interest. It was then handed to David Etheridge, the prosecuting attorney for the 14th Judicial District. He ruled the shooting was lawful. You can find more details on the decision right now on our website, 5newsonline.com, and we'll also have more on this on your 5 News later this evening. Well, happening right now, phase 1 of a major infrastructure upgrade project is starting off in the River Valley, creating a brand new bridge over the Arkansas River. Our news reporter Laura Castleman is live in Barling right now with more on this project that will connect I-49 to Highway 22. Laura?
Yes, all right. Today marks a historic step forward for the River Valley as RDOT has broken ground on the new Interstate 49 River Bridge in Barling. In attendance is Governor Sanders, representatives from RDOT, and the Arkansas State Highway Commission. The $282 million project will stretch from Highway 22 to Gun Club Road, featuring a relief structure and new interchange ramps. Officials say the bridge is the first of 4 projects needed to complete the I-49 extension, connecting the River Valley to the I-40 corridor and beyond. Construction is expected to wrap early in 2029. And I will have more information on the Interstate 49 expansion coming up at your 5 News at 4. Laura Castleman, 5 News.
All right, thanks, Laura. You can tell a lot going on out there. They just had that ceremony just wrapping up just a few moments ago. Well, in other news today, a part of the Dardanelle Lock and Dam has been repaired. The spillway gate was stuck open on Tuesday, forcing a section of the Arkansas River to close to barge traffic. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers released that video of the gate getting back up and running. They say they got it working around 9 last night. This means barge traffic between Fort Smith and Dardanelle can now return to normal. In Logan County, we're learning a man drove himself to the hospital after being shot in the back. Boonville police responded to the Mercy Hospital on Tuesday. They spoke with the man who said 43-year-old Derek Brady shot him during an argument. Police arrested Brady at a home in Scott County, and he was taken to the Logan County Detention Center, booked on battery and weapons charges. The city of Fort Smith has lifted all water conservation measures. This comes 18 days after a water main break between Phoenix and Lee Avenue, which has since been fully repaired. Today, reservoirs and storage tanks are back to normal levels, and the city says around 1 million gallons of drinking water was lost from that main break. National news, the Associated Press says the FBI searched the home of Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, today. A source tells AP it's part of an investigation into classified documents. The AP says Bolton was not taken into custody this morning, and he hasn't been charged with any crimes. Also, a big update in the Menendez brothers case. Eric Menendez has been denied parole after a hearing in California. The parole board said he hadn't shown enough remorse for killing his parents 36 years ago. His brother Lyle has his hearing scheduled for today. Carter Evans has more.
After a nearly 10-hour hearing, 54-year-old Eric Menendez, who appeared virtually from state prison in San Diego, was denied parole. He's now one step further from freedom since his conviction more than 30 years ago. Eric and his older brother Lyle admitted to brutally shooting and killing their parents in their Beverly Hills home in 1989. Outlining the decision, Commissioner Robert Barton explained that the seriousness of the crime was not the main reason for the denial. It was about his behavior in prison, citing more than a dozen violations, including illegally using cell phones, drug smuggling, and engaging in tax fraud.
The bad behavior, all of that indicated that Eric Menendez could still pose a risk to society, and they ultimately, unsurprisingly, denied parole.
Eric's extended family says the outcome is not what they hoped for.
Not many people get out on parole on their first try, so it wasn't entirely a surprise, but it is still very disappointing.
LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman, who repeatedly opposed the brothers' release, commended the parole board for its decision. Ahead of Thursday's outcome, California Governor Gavin Newsom said he's avoided taking a side in the brothers' parole.
I have not watched any documentary. I have not watched anything that has come out on the Menendez brothers, and I very intentionally avoided that in expectation and anticipation that this might land on my desk. So the facts themselves will speak for themselves.
Eric will have to wait another 3 years before his next parole hearing.
2 years ago, this was not even a possibility. We're still moving forward.
Later this morning, the parole board is going to take on the case of Lyle Menendez. That is Eric's older brother. He's now 57 years old. And this one could get interesting because Lyle had a much better record in prison. But as the older brother, he was perceived as the mastermind behind the killings. Carter Evans, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Hurricane Erin has weakened into a Category 1 storm, but still threatens the East Coast with dangerous winds, flooding, and surf. The water is closed to swimmers along the coast, and New Jersey is under a state of emergency as streets in Ocean City are flooded. The storm moved away from Virginia and North Carolina Thursday, but the danger there still not over. Meanwhile, crews are working to clean up in the Outer Banks.
We checked the roads, there's no damage. It's just a matter of clearing off all the water and sand. Usually that's a matter of hours or a day or so.
Erosion is a big concern as Erin continues its path hundreds of miles out in the Atlantic. It's expected to weaken even more over the weekend. Well, Wall Street soared this morning after a speech from Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. He signaled an interest rate cut, the first of this year, could come next month. It comes amid President Trump's ongoing criticism of the Fed. Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
In the near term, risks to inflation are tilted to the upside and risks to employment to the downside, a challenging situation.
Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell used Friday's speech to signal the central bank is open to cutting interest rates ahead of its next decision in September.
The baseline outlook and the shifting balance of risks may warrant adjusting our policy stance.
Powell, whose term as chair expires next May, has faced intense pressure from President Trump to lower interest rates. He spoke today about continued economic uncertainty over the administration's immigration and tariff policies.
This year, the economy has faced new challenges. Significantly higher tariffs across our trading partners are remaking the global trading system. Tighter immigration policy has led to an abrupt slowdown in labor force growth.
President Trump backed off previous threats to fire Powell, but is now targeting another Fed board member, Lisa Cook.
What she did was bad, so I'll fire her if she doesn't resign.
Cook was appointed to the Fed's Board of Governors by former President Biden. This week, a Trump administration official accused her of mortgage fraud and called for an investigation. In a statement, Cook says she has no intention of stepping down. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Cook added she takes questions about her financial history seriously. She says she's gathering information to answer any legitimate questions. Well, happening today, Fourth Friday season in Siloam Springs wraps up with the Back to Cool Bash. The end of the summer celebration starts at 4 this afternoon at Memorial Park in downtown Siloam Springs, and there will be food trucks, live music, and lots of activities.